Hi everybody, Velvet here, and I have some stories for you today. But before we get started, can you please do me a huge favor and like, comment, and subscribe? It will really help the channel out. Let's get started. Our first one comes from That Interaction 9879. Am I the beehole for telling my friend it's her fault for getting married and having kids late because the world won't wait on her now? I, a 39-year-old female, have a 6-person girl group since college, 37 to 39-year-old females, and that includes Mary, a 38-year-old female. We have been close throughout the years and have been at milestone events for each other. Mary just had a baby and is completely fitting the crazy new mother stereotype. In college, Mary has been someone who's had to make it known that she was unique/different from the rest of us, which wasn't as draining then as it has become now. For starters, all of the other women in our circle got married between the ages of 22 and 27 and have all had multiple kids. So, the 5 of us were able to experience those milestones alongside one another and got closer as we shared similar lifestyles. Mary was very adamant on not settling until her 30s because she wanted to travel and have different experiences, which we all supported. Regardless, she would continue to make comments about how she's so lucky, unlike us, because we're tied down with husbands and babies. I think this is where she grew resentment towards us, because we were in different places in life and she was upset we couldn't have our group to be similar how it was in college. Then, into our mid-30s, it's become a whole saga of she's getting older and can't find a husband, because all the good men are married or divorced with kids. When she finally got married, many could not attend because it was a destination event and a child-free during COVID. This caused a fight because she said how she was there for us during all of our weddings, but we couldn't put aside a week for her. We had all told her how we wish we could, but it was simply not financially feasible and didn't logistically work with our kids. But she just refused to hear us out and was simply so inconsiderate about our lives and families, saying we were horrible friends. Now, Mary just gave birth to her first child, and I was very excited for her. The only issue is that she moved from our state to a very remote place that is only accessible by a 6-hour car ride. Her baby is 6 months old, and none of us have been able to go up there to visit her. I think she's been given a wrong idea of what a village is, and has essentially demanded our group chat that we come up for the holidays, and to help her out because she's having a hard time adjusting to mom life. But this would entail we all take a week off, arrange childcare, figure out transportation, and book hotels during the holidays. It's gotten to the point where she's posting cryptic messages on Facebook bashing fake friends. Who wouldn't be there for her? As much as I wish I could, I cannot physically support her in the way she needs me to do in this stage of life. It would have been completely different if she still lived in our city and this was earlier in life, when we had less commitments/priorities. So I told her this, and that if she was hoping for a big village and constant support, she should have thought about that when she was planning out her life, because we can't all just pause our lives for her. So, am I the beehole? Hi OP. From reading what you've put in the story, I'm gonna say you're not the beehole. I'm reading the comments on this one and people are saying that you're jealous because she got to do the whole run around and do whatever she wants with her life thing while you started a family. I don't see it like that. Some people are fulfilled by having a family, some aren't. Personally, I can go either way. So yeah, I'm not seeing that. I think people in the comments are just wanting to believe that, because there's nothing wrong with wanting to have a family. As for the destination wedding, like you said, you've got a family and stuff to handle and take care of. And destination weddings, I don't know why people get so mad about people not going to those things. That costs money to travel, hotel, all that. If she was covering all that, maybe, but I don't think she was. And also people saying, oh, you couldn't have gone up there in, I forgot how long it was, 6 months to go see her from 6 hours away. 6 hours away is not an easy travel to do. Again, family plus 6 hours. I don't like doing an hour when I had to go to work, when I used to work at that other place. I mean, heck, I have family that's an hour away that I will not go visit, because again, I don't want to be driving for an hour. 6 hours, that's insane to me. And I do see people in the comments saying that they think you're not sharing everything, and I do get that vibe. So I made this assessment on what you've given me to work with and what I know. Our next one comes from Putrid Historian 3410. Am I the beehole for telling the lady at the pet shelter that she is actively hurting adoption chances? I, a 24-year-old female, have been trying to adopt a cat for a while from this local shelter. I'm not new to owning cats. I've always been surrounded by them growing up, so when I moved away from my family home, I knew I wasn't going to be taking the cats with me because they had become bonded to my parents, the house, the dog, and they were technically my dad's babies, so that would just be cruel to separate them. I moved a couple hours from home to be closer to the college I'm attending, and I'm really homesick. Like many, I deal with anxiety and depression, and it feels heavy lately, even with my partner living with me. I always feel better when I'm around animals, and my partner and I are big cat lovers. So, we decided to look at a shelter that specializes in senior cats for one to adopt. I never get any positive answers back, so I decided to go in person and ask the lady in charge of accepting or refusing applications if there was something more I could add to the applications in the future that would higher my chances of being accepted, since the shelter is at max capacity. But we keep getting rejected. She pointed to the part on the form that asked, "What would make you give up a pet?" and said my answer was the problem. My answer was, the only reason I would ever give up a pet is if I were to die. And nobody in my friends or family could take it in. I would never voluntarily give up my pet. I was confused by what the problem was to that question, and she answered that I'm not responsible enough if I don't have an immediate backup person to take the pet if I die. I was baffled because I have my partner and my parents who would take my pet in if I died, and in this scenario, I painted an extreme situation to say I would never willingly give a pet away. I explained this to the lady and pointed out that she was being a little nitpicky on this one, but she insisted that if I was a good candidate, I would have a better plan than let my family or friends house the cat in case of death. I was feeling really upset by the way she was speaking to me and the attitude, so I told her, if you weren't being so unreasonable, maybe the shelter wouldn't be so packed right now. Yes, animals need good homes and it should be monitored, but you are actively harming the chances of them being adopted into homes. They are already in the later stages of life. Don't they deserve to live as many days as possible in a warm home instead of a cage? This is what may have made me the beehole because the lady started crying and calling her coworker over to escort us out, telling her coworker that we said she was making sure the cats died alone. I wasn't intending to make her feel that way, I just wanted to point out the flaw in their choice process. The shelter lady said, "We're not welcome to adopt, we are HS. I'm uncertain and feel really confused by it all. My fiance says that they are extremely fishy and I shouldn't let their dramatics get to me. So, am I the beehole? Edit. I've been getting some people asking. The first part of the form has emergency contacts for people that would take the cat instead of emergencies. That is why it is written the way it was. My adoption application included vet references and an official letter from the company I rent with signed and stamped that they would not be changing any pet policies and the cats could be kept in the building. Hi OP, you are not the beehole, and this is coming from someone who loves animals. I have 2 dogs right now. I agree, that lady's screwing over those poor cats, and I don't know if it's just cats or I'll just say animals, from getting adopted and enjoying the later years of their lives in a nice, warm environment. Also, is that lady just getting off on being a jerk? Because you said in the application that they have spaces there for you to put contact information in case of emergencies to take care of the pet if something happens to you. Also, what you told her wasn't mean or rude or anything like that. I don't know what her deal is. And I know a lot of people say, adopt from a shelter and help an animal that's going to be taken off this earth. And I agree with you, one of my dogs is from a shelter. But it always feels like these shelters have a shadiness to them. Because when I got my dog, they said she had kennel cough, but she was fine when I first met her. I think they just wanted to get another $100 off of me. And normally, when it comes to elder animals, they want to give them away. Personally, OP, what I've done my whole life whenever I was looking for an animal, I did look at shelters, but I did also look at people, who have a litter of puppies and want to sell a puppy. I got my dog, my other dog that I love and adore, who's very much my speed. All she does is sleep and eat. I love her that way. Best $50 I've ever spent in my life. It's probably can't get her for that price nowadays. She's probably like $250 now. I would seriously look into, getting an animal that way if the shelter's going to keep jerking you around like that. And our next one comes from Conversation Far 3511. Am I the beehole for letting my daughter buy her dad a gift from the wrong football team? Can't actually believe I'm writing this post. My ex and I have a 3-year-old. She's amazing and loves her daddy. It was his birthday on Monday, so I let my daughter grab some bits for him. There's a football stall in our local shopping center. They had squeezy balls for each team. My daughter knows that her dad loves football and also the color blue, so she picked out a blue one for him. It wasn't his team, but there's nothing on the actual ball, it just said the team on the wrapper. So she bought it. We left, everything got wrapped up. We were with him when he opened them. His face fell and dropped the ball. Like it burnt him when he opened it. His mom gave him the evil eyes. So he did the clearly fake thank you, and then our daughter was disinterested. He was off with me the whole day, and last night called me a B-word for doing that to him. I asked what he meant. He said I knew he hates that team. I didn't. I used to ignore his football rants, and he thinks it's garbage that I used our daughter as an excuse to upset him. I explained that she picked it out, and he claimed I should have corrected her because he hates the gift. I called him a child. His mom has since texted me apologizing, but in a even though it's your fault way. She's usually on my side, so I'm half thinking it was my fault in some sort of way. I did know he doesn't support that team, and my daughter would have been corrected easily, so I probably should have done it anyway. So, am I the beehole? This is such a stupid story. Not your fault or anything like OP. I agree with you, like, you have to even post this anyway. You are not the beehole. And yes, your ex is childish. I understand why he is your ex. So, I grew up a nerd. Playing WoW, building computers, that sort of thing. Drawing, all that. I never got into sports. I never understood people's love of sports. It's so boring and interesting to me. I will play a sport with people because that's fun and you're doing something, but I don't get watching it. The only exception is maybe I'll watch a boxing match or a UFC match because my dad likes to watch boxing. And who doesn't understand a fight? You know, it's a fight. You don't have to learn the rules, beat the other one until he goes down. Sorry about that, I kind of wandered off. But no, you are not the beehole. Who cares about this team? Your daughter wanted to get her pops a present. That's so sweet that she took the time to get him a little ball and all that. That's nice. That would have melted my heart, man. And our last one comes from Potential Junket 193. Am I the beehole for not allowing my daughter to wear her late mother's wedding dress since she will not fit into it? My late wife was a very small person. When we got married, she was only 115 pounds. So, her wedding dress size reflects that. She passed away 2 years ago, so she won't be able to attend our daughter's wedding. That will be in 2025. Now my daughter wants to wear the dress, and I told her it wouldn't be a good idea, since she wouldn't be able to squeeze into it. So she told me she can just up the size of it, and I told her I would think about it. I looked into it, and they basically cut the dress up to size it up. I informed her, no, she can't wear the dress, since they would be cutting it up. This resulted in a huge argument about me gatekeeping my wife's things. I told her, no again, and that they could wear some of her jewelry she hung up. She clearly thinks I'm a jerk, and my sons are now on me to give up the dress. Am I the beehole? Edit. Since it's been asked twice, my wife has always wanted to go dress shopping with our daughters. She loved her wedding dress, and I don't think she would be okay with it being cut up. I also have a younger daughter since that was asked. I am also confused why the lot of comments mention my younger daughter is super skinny like my wife. I never said that. She won't fit into the dress either. More due to the fact that she's almost 6 feet tall. I don't know how people are gonna go on this one, but if it was me, I can relate to this one because I have a beanie from my deceased grandma that no one's going to take, and I will not be taking outside because I will feel like garbage if I lost it or it got stolen somehow. I would think you would have been the beehole if she was able to fit in the dress and you were like, no, don't wear the dress, but that is a keepsake from your wife, and cutting it up would be horrible. I get that. And also reading about your wife wanting to go dress shopping with her daughters, it sounds like she didn't want them to use her dress, that she wanted them to have their own dress on their own special days, which I think sounds way better. Also, I think letting them use your late wife's jewelry was a great compromise. I don't know what else you can do in this situation because I wouldn't let them tear up something of someone I loved like that. Alright everybody, thank you so much for making it to the end with me. Can you please do me a huge favor and do what I said in the beginning and like, comment, and subscribe? It will really and truly help the channel out. Velvet out.